Good morning, my students. Today we will continue our lesson quadratic function. Our objectives in this video is to study the sign of linear function, that is function of first degree, f of x equal ax plus b. We have to remember how to solve linear equation to find its root. Let's start. Sign of linear function. What do we mean by sign of a function? Sign means positive, negative, zero of a function. This means we want to know when this function is positive, when this function is negative, when this function is zero. We will start today by linear function, then we will go to quadratic function. Let's start with explaining the sign of linear function. First of all, let's remember what do we mean by linear function. Linear function is a function of first degree, and it has the following form: ax plus b equals 0. I will give you this table for a function f of x equals 2x minus 6. This is an example, but will help you to understand the idea. First of all, I want you to know that we are studying the function of this, of f of x. I want to know this f of x, at what value of x it will be positive or negative or zero. So, first of all, I want you to know that we are studying the sign of f of x. We study its sign according to the value of x. Which x gives me f of x positive? Which x give me f of x negative? Which x will give me f of x 0? So the sign of f of x depends on the value of x. Let's start. If x equals 0, if x equals 0, what is the value of f of x? We will substitute 0 in the function. It will become f of 0, 2 into 0 minus 6. The answer is minus 6. I don't care for the number. I want to see the sign. Its sign is negative. So, when x is 0, the sign of f of x, is negative. Now, if x equals 1, now I take x equal 1 and I substitute it in f of x. When I substitute it, it gives me f of 1 equal minus 4. I substitute instead of each x by 1, and it will give me minus 4. What is the sign of f of x? Now its sign is negative. So when x equal 1, the sign of f of x is negative. Let's continue. If x equal 2, I substitute 2 in the function. Then the value of f of 2 is minus 2. I want the sign. Its sign is negative. So, when x equals 0, the sign of f of x is negative. When x equals 1, the sign of f of x is negative. When x equals 2, the sign of f of x is minus. These values, minus 6, minus 4, minus 2, are the values of f of x. And 0, 1, 2 are the values of x. Now we are discussing the sign of f when we substitute a certain x. Okay, let's continue. If x equals 3, then f of 3 equals 0. يعني when x is 3 and we substitute it in f of x, the value of f of x is 0. So 0. If when this x give me the value of f of x 0, then we call this x is a root. Because if we substitute it in 2x minus 6, it will give me 0. And we have said we call this x a root. Now, for x equals 4, f of 4 equal 2. يعني when x has a value 4, the sign of f of x is positive. When x equals 5 and we substitute it in f of x, it gives me 4. What is the sign of f of x here? It is positive. So when x equals 5, the sign of f of x is positive. Now I want you to notice that when x equals 3, the value of f of x is 0 because 3 is root. Before the root, all the values of f of x were negative, and after the root, all the values of f of x are positive. Here, f of x positive, and here f of x negative. والحد الفاصل بيناتهم كان x equal 3, which is the root. Now, of the linear function in a table called table of sign. F of x equal to x minus 6. Why we draw table of sign? Because we took x equal 1, x equal 2, x equal 3, x equal 4, x equal 5, and every x give me f of x. طب I have infinite values of x. So will I find the value of f of x for each x? They are too many values of x. So we will summarize all of them in a table. First, this is the function. First of all, we want to find the root. So we put 2x minus 6 equal to 0. Then 2x equals 6. X equals 6 over 2. So x equals 3. The first step, we found the root. At x equals 3, 2x minus 6 equals 0, so we called it the root. This is the table. First, we write here the function f of x equal to x minus 6. Then, here x, يعني we find the value of f of x according to the values of x, or sorry, the sign of f of x according to the value of x. Value of x may be any number from minus infinity to plus infinity, any number from minus infinity to plus infinity. But I have the root, which is 3. First, at the root 3, the function f of x has the value 0. So we put 0. I will read it. At x equal 3, f of x has the value 0. Okay? Then we will continue. If you notice that f of x has negative, then we have 0 at x equal 3, then positive, right? So, before 3, the values of f of x were negative. After the value of x equal 3, f of x has positive value. Okay? So, we will notice that this sign is opposite to the sign of a, the coefficient of x. Here the sign of a is positive. Notice that we start opposite of this sign with negative sign, then we have the root, then we have the same sign. So, for linear function, first of all, we will put the value of the root. At the root, the function will be 0. Before the root, the sign of the function will be opposite of a, which is the coefficient of x. And after the root, we will have same sign as a. Same sign as a. Let's take another example. The new function is f of x equals minus 5x plus 10. Let's start. Take any values of x. Okay? Now, we will study the sign of f of x equals minus 5x plus 10. Let's take for x equal to 0. If we substitute this value in f of x, we will get f of 0 equals 10. What is the sign of this f at x equal to 0? Its sign is positive, because plus 10. Let's continue. For x equals 1, also we will substitute this value here, and we will get f of 1 equal 5. What is the sign of 5? Also positive. Then the sign of f is positive. X equal to gives 0. Now we reach the root. When x equal to f equal to 0, then we call x equal to is a root, So x equal to is a root. Now we will take values after the root. The root is 2. I will take values after the root. For x equal 3, see the sign changed. F of 3 equals minus 5, which is negative. If we take now x equals 4, f of 4 equals minus 10. I will read it. At x equal 4, the sign of f of x is negative. At x equal 5, the sign of f is negative. Let's notice together. This is the root. Look, this is the root. Before the root, all the signs of f of x are positive. After the root, all the signs are negative. Okay? Let's go to summarize these signs in a table. First of all, this is the function. We must know the root. So, we write minus 5x plus 10 equals to 0. X equals 2. First of all, we now know that x equal 2 is a root. This is the most important thing. Here, we write the function we are studying. Here, we will write x, and x can take any value from minus infinity to plus infinity. But we have x equal to is a root. We must write the root because it will separate negative sign and positive sign. At the root, what is the value of f of x? It will be surely 0. It will be 0. So, at the root, the value of the function will be 0. Now, this is the region before the root. And this is the region after the root. The region before the roots, all the values of x here will give f of x positive sign. Why? Because I have said that before the root the sign is opposite to a. A is negative, so before the root the sign will be positive, opposite. After the root the sign will be the same of a. The sign of a is negative, so the sign of f of x is negative. So at x equal to, which is the root, the value of the function is 0. Before the root we have opposite sign of a. Opposite sign of a. And after the root we have same sign as a. Okay? As conclusion, to study the sign of linear function, f of x equal ax plus b. First step, put ax plus b equal to 0. Put f of x, ax plus b equal to 0. This step to find the root. Now we find the root. After finding the root, we will draw the table of sign. We put here f of x, we put here x from minus infinity to plus infinity, and we write here the root. We write here the root. At the root, the value of f of x is 0. Before the root, the sign is opposite of A, and after the root the sign is same as A. Okay? Finally, please try to solve these 3 examples on studying sign of linear function. يعطيكم العافية والسلام عليكم.